Hello everybody, Akash Inti here today with a communication basics video. Today we talk about the important questions necessary to answer in your communication. These are the important questions to answer during any story in general, yet something we often forget or neglect to talk about. So with that, we're talking about the who, the what, the where, the why, the when, and don't forget about the how. Awesome. So what is this all trying to say? What am I all trying to say here? Well, depending on the communication that you have, there may be specific words or questions that you may want to answer. In other words, it may make sense to answer the who and what question in a scenario of when you are seeking to communicate information about a task. That's a really good time to have a who and a what. And then also I would say a when as well. So in other words, if you need a task done by a certain time, you answer who needs to get the task done, what task do they need to get done, and by when. It's not necessarily really important for them as to the why and the how in this scenario, especially if one is giving directives like in a meeting or something like this. So the larger point of this whole thing is that there's certain times where it's effective to answer only certain questions of these in a communication. At other times, and this is more kind of logically oriented, it's anything that's really related to, I would say, getting tasks done in an effective and organized manner. This type of communication is not necessarily as conducive, or it's not as important for, let's say, seductive communication, where things don't follow this same logical flow. They have their own alternate logic. Now, I would say that additionally, it might make sense for a why and a how to be communicated. So to communicate what's the why of what you're doing and how do you do it. And the what's. This would be really, really important in terms of a sales communication from what I've learned thus far. So the structure of that would be, why are you doing it? What are you doing? And then how are you doing it? This is kind of the overarching structure for a kind of more of a sales or a marketing type of communication. On that note, so that's kind of the logical structure of it, but then there's also an emotional structure to it in which you use certain tonalities to effectively communicate those ideas. Let's see, what's another example of one that we could go through that has a structure like this? Let's think. I would say a where and I don't know. I think this is what we're going to leave it at for right now. Nonetheless, these ideas are really, really important to be thinking through and playing around with, because as I continue to navigate these questions more and more, I get a better understanding of when is it most effective, especially within the workplace. When is it most effective to answer only specific questions, but rather leave others omitted, because it either adds too much information, doesn't add any real doesn't allow the communication to flow clearer, because the information is already understood by both parties. And now it seems like I'm kind of rambling back and on this topic, and it's like, dude, I kind of lost you. Well, I kind of lost myself for half a second there too, but now that I said that I've lost myself, I'm kind of back here, and I feel even more close with you guys. In all seriousness, I really do. I've found so much value within just looking at these questions and getting a better understanding of when do I use each of these questions in my communication, and which are the ones that are really important to communicate. With that, I leave you. Keep up, thrive, stay sexy. Let me know if you guys have any comments, questions. I know this one was a little all over the place, but I'm continuing to make sure that I get my videos out at least once a day. So that's what this is. And with that, keep up, thrive, and stay sexy twice, because you can always do keep up, thrive, stay sexy even 3 times.